This is Savannah, and welcome to my second ZBrush tutorial, Part P. In this tutorial, we'll be discussing ZSpheres and how to make 3D models out of ZSpheres. First, we're going to go to the Tool menu, click on any icon to open up the Tool window, find in 3D Meshes your ZSphere, and go ahead and select it. Now click anywhere on your blank canvas, and holding down the Shift key, click and drag out your ZSphere. Then hit the Edit button or the T key on your keyboard. One of the other things that I'd like to show you before we begin is how to work your canvas and zooming in, out, and turning your model on the canvas. If you click on anywhere on the blank canvas and drag your cursor around, as you can see, it turns and moves your model on the canvas. If you were to drag your cursor downwards, it will turn your model to its top. If you hit the Shift key at any point while dragging on your blank canvas, it will align the model to the main focus of your 3D model. Top, bottom, and side to side. The other things is that if you hit the Option key or the Alt key on your keyboard and simply drag around, click and drag on your empty canvas, as you can see, it moves your model. If you let go of the Option key and hold your cursor down still, you can drag in and out to zoom in and out. Also hit the Frame key, and as you can see, it zooms it in to the full width and height of the window and canvas that you have in ZBrush. We're going to zoom out, and then we're going to turn it to its top and hold down the Shift key to make sure that it's positioned and centered on the top. Now we're going to turn down the draw size and turn off RGB. We're not going to be using colors, and ZSpheres do not handle having a higher draw size than 1 after you draw the main one, because it handles its size on its own as you drag them out, and as you'll be able to see. If you take your cursor and hover on the top of your ZSphere, as you can see, a line comes out from the center of the ZSphere, and there's a circle at the top. Sometimes it's red, and then other times it turns green. You will want to draw your ZSpheres out when that circle is green and not when it is red. Try as hard as possible to draw out your ZSpheres so that the chain will continue and not have problems later. So go ahead and click in the center of your ZSphere and drag out a ZSphere. As you can see, now our main ZSphere has a top ZSphere. I'm going to undo that and go ahead and go to the center of your ZSphere, and this time while dragging out, hit the Shift key. As you can see, now the ZSphere is exactly that we just drew out. It's exactly the same size or radius as the main ZSphere. Use the Move, Scale, and Rotate Transform buttons to move your ZSpheres, to scale them down and out, or to rotate. When you want to draw more, just hit on the draw key again. Now, we're going to go to the tool menu, the adaptive skin palette, and open that up. You click on, we'll use classic skinning for right now. If you click on preview, which will show you what your geometry that your ZSpheres are making, as you can see, there's this weird thumb tip like geometry going on here. Click back on the preview to turn it off, or click on the A key on your keyboard to turn it off. One of the reasons why you got that thumb-like geometry is because there's no other ZSphere on the bottom of your main ZSphere. For any ZSpheres, you have to have a bottom to your main one. Go ahead and click, shift, and drag out a ZSphere. Now hit the A key, or hit the preview button. As you can see now, the ZSpheres are connected. If you click on either one, you click on the MC button here, or minimal skin to child, as you can see, much more straighter and doesn't give you that strange little barbell look to it. This is using classic skinning. If we were to use the new skinning and hit the preview, as you can see, it gives a much better detailed look to your polygon count and your polygons. ZSpheres will usually create only quad polygons. The density is the subdivisions that will be loaded up when you create a 3D object out of your ZSpheres. For now, we'll leave that on too. Turn off the preview. Go up to your transform menu and click on Activate Symmetry. As you can see now, on either side of your ZSpheres is two circles on either X position. Click and drag your ZSpheres. Go ahead and click, hold the Shift key, and drag out another ZSphere. Now we're going to go to the Move tool. And drag the arms down to about there. Now if we hit the Draw key, well, first I'll show you. As you can see, it's created some very stretched out polys when you go into the preview mode. So if you're in draw mode and your ZSpheres are on, you'll notice the cursor has a line ZSphere, and sometimes the box is white, sometimes it's green. Just like the other ZSpheres, make sure that that square is green when you click on the chain between any ZSpheres. Go ahead and click on the chain and now you have more ZSpheres added to that chain. And you have a better polygon layout. Turn off Activate Symmetry and click on the center. And draw out a few ZSpheres. Now you have a head to your model. One thing I'd like to show you while in the Move tool if you were to move while clicking on a chain, as you can see, it kind of gives you this deformation to the chains. Should click back on the Activate Symmetry while using the arm. If you use the Rotate, it keeps that whole chain straight. Okay. Also take the scale, and just like before, you click on a sphere itself where the circle turns red. You've a ZSphere selected. If you were to click on a chain and get a yellow circle or an orange one, as you can see, it's affecting all the way down to the last ZSphere. Same thing with Move. You can move individual ZSpheres by clicking when the circle is red or when it's yellow, orange. To remove a ZSphere, make sure you have your draw turned on. Press and hold the Alt or Option key on your keyboard and click on the ZSphere that you would like to remove. Go. Make some extra geometry for eyeballs. continue to making the fingers. And as you can see, the other things that you can see is that I put the thumb on a completely different Z-sphere than the fingers. The reason why I did that is to give more space between the thumb and the fingers. And now we have hands on our model. Once we're done with creating our character or blocking it out with ZSpheres, go ahead and hit the preview button. I'm going to go ahead, once you're ready to make it into a 3D object, hit the Make Adaptive Skin button. You can see now there's a new tool in your menu. It's called Skin ZSphere 1. Go ahead and click on that. And as you can see in the geometry, there's 2 levels of subdivision. Go back to our ZSphere model, and Adaptive Skin, and go ahead and drag the slider up to 6 and hit Make Adaptive Skin again. As you can see in the geometry that there's now 6 subdivision levels. Object or model into a 3D model. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you and happy ZBrush.